live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social. Actor Jeremy Renner says he's home from the hospital after a snowplow accident. The Marvel star was injured on New Year's Day while clearing snow from his driveway at his Nevada home.
And the Museum of the Bible is displaying a rare Bible with one of the most famous typos. Just a few copies of the Wicked Bible is what it's called still exist. One of the 10 Commandments omits the word not, making the text read, "Thou shalt commit adultery."
Oh, I'm sure that ain't.
I'm sure there are some that live by that.
Yeah. And a sign on one Waffle House is going viral. It tells people to order off the menu, adding, "We are not making anything you saw on TikTok."
So mean.
I get it. They don't want to deal with that all day.
I mean, I do get that. You can't have it your way everywhere, right?
No. Now, today's top story. The search continues for Sierra Chapman. The Dayton woman has been missing for nearly 3 weeks, and police are now calling her disappearance suspicious. Mimi Baugh has the latest.
Now, let's give you a breakdown of the timeline. On December 27th, investigators say, let's go in here, this is when she was last seen here at an apartment complex in Trotwood. Again, this is on December 27th. They say the car that she has, a 2014 Cadillac SRX SUV, left the apartment at about 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, 10 days later, let's go back here on January 6th. In Middletown is where that car was found, here on Shelby Street and Jewel Avenue in Middletown. Again, as I mentioned, now her purse and other personal items were inside the vehicle, but she was nowhere to be found. Now, I caught up with the family at that location. This is their message.
Sierra, if you see this, if you hear this, even if it come past you in the whiff of a wind, please find a way anyway to reach out to us. We are dearly, dearly, dearly missing you. Whoever is around you, whoever have you, just deliver this message to my sister, and we are here as one and as a whole.
Now, if you have any information on her whereabouts, just head to Dayton247now.com and click on this story under top stories for the numbers you could call. Back to you.
Good morning. Still a couple of showers around the area, one just scooting into the northeast area of Dayton. It has been a kind of showery overnight period. In fact, it was about 2:30 in the morning where one popped over my house, poured for maybe 30 seconds, and then moved out. But we are nearing the end. In fact, not just the end of the showers, but actually the end of the clouds. The clouds themselves should end by later on today. What we will be looking at is a true mix of sun and clouds. Sunshine early, clouds during the afternoon and evening, but back and forth between the two for a while. Temperatures will be in the middle 50s, maybe just a touch breezy, but overall today is going to be a really nice day when it comes to temperatures, but again, a little bit breezy and the clouds. Meanwhile, the roads this morning are wet, so give yourself some extra time. Haven't seen any major issues on the interstates this morning, but do have one incident right now on Edison Street and North Antioch.
Right now, flu cases are on the decline, but we aren't out of the woods just yet. In fact, hospitals are still full with other patients, and another spike is always possible.
Tej Joshi joins us now from Miami Valley Hospital with what doctors are saying. Tej.
Good morning, guys. Just as you put it, there are definitely still a potential for more COVID, flu, and RSV cases. As we are in the middle of this winter sickness upper respiratory season right now, there's still a lot to be concerned about. As you put it there in the beginning of this segment, the overall cases for the flu right now, according to the Ohio Department of Health, are down, actually down about 38% compared to this time 2 weeks ago. But experts do warn, with a lot of kids going back to schools and school-based activities this week and next week and even the week after, they are expecting a rise in overall flu cases. And of course, this year, a big part of that has been influenza A, which has been especially affecting people here across the Miami Valley. We were mentioned outside Miami Valley Hospital, where there are a lot of those upper respiratory patients here right now. And if you are somebody who is watching at home right now and you have, or someone in your family has some type of those symptoms, either flu, COVID, or RSV, and you're maybe not sure which one you have, we did chat with some experts who gave some tips on how to treat yourself.
Make sure that, you're taking vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, Tamiflu. You can call your provider and get Tamiflu, and that can be prescribed to reduce some of the symptoms. And then if you start seeing a fever where you are persistent and can't get rid of the fever, you really need to get in and see your primary care.
Of course, a lot of the same tips we've all been following for the past few years of social distancing if you're sick and making sure you're washing your hands are great tips to follow, as all three, COVID, RSV, and the flu, could be on the rise in the next few weeks. Back to you guys in the studio.
This morning, 6 people, including a teen mother and her child, are now dead after a shooting yesterday morning in Central California. Authorities are now calling it, quote, a horrific massacre. They're searching for at least 2 suspects. Investigators say they believe the shooting was gang-related and the family was targeted.
We're learning new details this morning as University of Alabama junior forward Darius Miles remains in custody with no bond. Prosecutors charged him and another man with capital murder in a shooting on Sunday. Now here you can see Miles in tears talking to his family before being put in a police car.
I swear, I love you more than you imagine.
In a statement, his lawyer says Miles maintains his innocence. Now we're learning more about the 23-year-old victim, Jamia Harris. She leaves behind a 5-year-old son. Investigators say the shooting happened behind a bar after an argument. Alabama coach Nate Oates confirms Miles has been removed from campus and the team. He was already out for the season because of an injury.
At the University of Georgia, leaders, students, and community members are still mourning the deaths of offensive lineman Devin Willock and staff member Chandler LaCroix. Now, they both died in a single-car crash early on Sunday, just hours after the team celebrated its national championship win. Willock's family is sharing photos of the 20-year-old, describing him as a great teammate, a humble man, and always smiling. Police say he died on the scene. LaCroix died after being taken to the hospital. The other 2 injured passengers in the crash are Georgia offensive lineman Warren McClendon and 26-year-old Victoria Bowles. The cause of that crash remains under investigation.
The death toll is climbing after a Russian attack on an apartment building in Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say at least 40 people are dead, including 2 children. They say about 1,700 people live there. Now, people living in the apartments told the Associated Press there are no military facilities there.
Nepal is now at a national day of mourning after a plane crash killed at least 69 of the 72 people on board. On your screen right now are images of the crews working on the wreckage. Officials believe the 3 missing people, including the co-pilot, are also dead.
Today would have been Betty White's 101st birthday. She worked hard to protect animals during her lifetime. And in her honor, the Humane Society of Greater Dayton is encouraging everyone to do the Betty White Challenge. All you got to do is donate to an animal shelter in need today. You can give at the website on your screen, hsdayton.org/Betty.
5:07, I should say 5:08 actually, is our time right now. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
New study just released says that alcohol is now linked to preventable deaths in young people. I'm Liz Bonus, but we all need to know to help save lives. It is just ahead.
Concerns on Capitol Hill, more questions being asked in President Biden's classified documents case. Just ahead, the latest on the investigation.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. It has been a wet day so far. Here's the good news. The rest of the day should be relatively dry. And in fact, I would dare say a part of the day is going to have a good bit of sunshine. Now, that being said, once we get into the afternoon, evening, it is going to become a lot more cloudy. The clouds will continue tomorrow morning. No temperatures tomorrow morning actually start out around the high temperature, the average high temperature for this time of year. We will be looking at a mix of sun and clouds all throughout the daytime tomorrow, but I would say trending a lot more towards the clouds. Once we get into the nighttime, we'll start to see some showers approach. This is going to be rain. Temperatures should be in the 40s. There is the potential for some heavier bands of rain to move through. Right now, I would say that the rain likely to last until Thursday morning, early Thursday morning, but there is the potential that a few of these showers actually linger into the morning commute. Either way, Thursday morning's commute is going to be a wet one. Thursday itself should dry out, and temperatures actually get back into the 50s. Now, in terms of rainfall, similar to a lot of the last few systems, I would say your bottom end total would be around 1/10 of an inch. Your top end total, somewhere around 1/2 to an inch. That's where we do see those heavy bands. It is always, I think that's going to vary spot to spot. And there is the potential that, let's say, we don't get a big round or two. Maybe some of those totals would be more 1/2 inch, 2/3 of an inch, as opposed to those huge totals. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, haven't seen any major issues on 75. We do have one incident right now at Edison Street in North Antioch. If that's part of your morning commute, give yourself a little bit of extra time.
I know the White House tried to say it was all cleared up on Thursday. Now that we find there's more documents, I think there's a lot of questions that continue to raise, and we want to get all the information possible.
A live look this morning from the White House as more questions are now being asked about President Biden and classified document concerns. Now, multiple sources say there could be more searches ahead for classified documents at locations connected to the president. His team searched a private office in Washington, D.C. and his 2 homes in Delaware, where the White House says files may have been shipped during Biden's 2017 transition out of office as vice president. They found about 20 classified documents. The sources say more searches are possible, but it's not clear who would conduct them or where they would take place. And a warning this morning from counselors about alcohol always being part of our celebrations.
A new study says excessive drinking is linked to early deaths in younger Americans. Medical reporter Liz Bonus explains why.
Hey there, everybody. This study, published in JAMA Network Open, found 1 in 5 deaths in people 20 to 49 could be attributed to excessive alcohol. For people 20 to 64, it was 1 in 8. Researchers say that means this now adds up to one of the leading causes of preventable death. As part of the study, researchers looked at deaths linked to alcohol that included car accidents, alcohol poisoning, and other health impacts such as liver disease. They found deaths fully attributed to alcohol have risen in the past decade. So have the underage drinking statistics. Sadly, this is where a problem can start. The most recent numbers show nearly 1 in 4 of those 14 to 15 years old have already had an alcoholic drink. 7 million young people ages 12 to 20 reported just a few sips in the last month. Chauncey Huff, now an outreach counselor at Ohio's DeCoach Rehabilitation, says he began drinking at a young age. It led to a lot of years of excessive intake. Now, clean and sober, he says he's living his best life.
Being a good father, being a good husband, being a good citizen. You know, I wasn't able to really have that come into fruition, drinking and using. And it seems almost immediately, you know, after getting clean and sober, those things just started to happen, you know, and I'm living a life worth living today. So, yeah, that's what keeps me going, being able to be the person that I've always wanted to be.
With alcohol such a part of how we celebrate now, the authors of this study suggest we think before we drink. This tool is now available through the CDC's website to help us see if we are moderate drinkers or need a plan to cut back. The CDC defines moderate drinking as 2 drinks a day for guys or less, 1 drink a day or less for women. And just so you know, you can't really bank it, meaning you can't abstain all week and then binge on the weekends and have that reduce your risk. I'm medical reporter Liz Bonis. Now back to you.
Our time right now is 5:17. Flappers to flyboys. Attaboy to attagirl. In minutes, we look back and celebrate the Roaring 20s.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. We're going to start out with the rain here on Pet of the Day. Why? Because I think this is going to be the biggest influence on our forecast for old Fido, or in this case, I believe we have Benji over here. Benji, owned by Joyce. It is going to be a day where I don't think we're going to see much in the way of additional rainfall, but notice the yellow pause. That's because we have seen so much rain over the last 24 hours, and if your dog is anything like mine, well, they have explored the great outdoors and brought it back inside. I know my house was absolutely covered in paw prints the last 24 hours, so needless to say, I'm going to be doing some mopping today. 50s across the board, so relatively comfortable day for not only the dogs but the humans to get outside. Maybe a touch breezy during the afternoon and evening, so if you are going to be walking the dog, you may just encounter that. But overall, I mean, when you talk about 50s for this time of year, we are still running about 20 degrees above the average, and it's one of those that I think just about anybody would enjoy, outside of maybe the Huskies, though. As for the roads this morning, if you are traveling, those roads are wet, so like the ground for the dogs, it is a wet morning. Just be prepared to maybe take a little bit of extra time, and a reminder, some of those kids going back to school today. We haven't seen any other issues on 75, 675, or 70 this morning.
Immunization rates for measles, polio, and other diseases once again dropped among kindergartners last school year, a trend public health officials warn puts kids at risk for vaccine-preventable diseases. About 93% of kindergartners during the 2021-22 school year completed the vaccines for measles, mumps, and rubella, and polio and chickenpox. That coverage dropped about 1% from the previous year. However, U.S. cancer death rate has fallen 33% since 1991, partly due to advances in treatment, early detection, and less smoking. The rate of lives lost to cancer continues to shrink in the most recent year for which data is available, between 2019 and 2020, by 1.5%. And nutritionists say protein is likely to fill you up more than simple carbs, and that may be because protein helps our bodies release hormones that keep hunger at bay. But many protein bars are also full of sugar. A chocolate chip Cliff Bar, for example, has 16 grams of sugar, more than what's in a serving of Thin Mints. And a Gatorade protein bar in chocolate chip flavor has 28 grams of sugars, twice the amount of a Dunkin' Donuts chocolate frosted donut with sprinkles. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
90 years ago, laws outlawing liquor came to an end, and that's why today is National Bootleggers Day. January 17th also happens to be the birthday of legendary bootlegger Al Capone and Templeton Rye, his favorite whiskey. Now, together, illegal untaxed liquor was made by moonshiners or smuggled by bootleggers like Capone. Prohibition lasted 13 years. Celebrate National Bootleggers Day by raising a glass or diving into history and learn about speakeasies, flappers, the Roaring '20s, and America during the Prohibition era. And they would be proud of you, Nick. You brew your own beer.
I was going to say, yeah, you're like,
you have your own
are you a
speakeasy.
bootlegger?
No, I don't have a bootleg. No, I don't drive with it in my car across state lines. That's how NASCAR was formed, first of all, was the bootleggers would run back and forth, and it would be who could get it faster and who would, you know, avoid the cops. Like,
I didn't know that. That's an
Yeah.
interesting fun fact.
yeah,
Why don't you know that?
I don't know. Why don't you know that?
Yeah.
You're the one full of nonsense knowledge.
Well, Nick is up there with
He
nonsense
is.
knowledge.
He
so.
is. Yes, I'm well aware that the both of you
Yeah.
are the same human.
That's good.
Exactly.
We're
like
the old men from the Muppets up
yeah,
in the balcony.
like Statler
Yes, I
and
know.
Waldorf. Like,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
one are
yeah.
you?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Like, are you the one that gets punched in the face and like gets the bitter beer face, or yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like yeah,
I don't even know what you're
can't do
talking
it.
about.
The
This
Muppets.
is my life.
the Muppets.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay. You'll find out one day. Our time right now,
pass.
5:24. Still to come.
Numbers of the flu cases are down right now in my valley, but they might bounce back. Details coming up.
In today's Tech Bites, Netflix's new look on iPhones. The streaming service has rolled out a new interface that features new, more fluid animations. Netflix says it's also now easier to filter content by category and switch between profiles. Also, the Coming Soon tab is now called What's New. Google is reportedly working on a Bluetooth tracker to compete with Apple's AirTags. The tracker is said to be codenamed Grogu from the Mandalorian Star Wars series. No word on an expected launch date. And high-powered lasers may be used to reroute lightning. Researchers in Europe say they've tested a system that uses laser pulses to force lightning to go in a certain direction. The development could help protect rocket launch pads, airports, and power plants from strikes. I was wondering how they came up with this idea. Then it struck me. They must have brainstormed. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Sickness can spread fast, but with Lysol, you can go into protect mode. For the things you touch, nothing kills more viruses on more surfaces than Lysol disinfectant spray. And when it comes to your laundry, adding Lysol laundry sanitizer kills 99.9% of illness-causing bacteria detergents leave behind. Lysol, what it takes to protect.
Restless nights fogging up your day? Tonight, try new ZzzQuil Pure Z Sleep Plus Next Day Energy with melatonin to help you fall asleep naturally, plus extended release B vitamins. Wake up feeling refreshed. Pure Z's. Sleep better, wake up your best.
The pepperoni on Panera's new toasted baguette is sliced a little thicker to hold more flavor. So when fresh mozzarella melts over it, that detail will be big. Try the new toasted baguettes from Panera.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's three stories you're seeing on social right now. Russian and Belarusian flags have been banned from the Australian Open. This after fans displayed a Russian flag at a match between a Russian and Ukrainian a day earlier.
Well, Austin Plowers, Hey Now, You're a Plow Star, or Plow Winfrey are all finalists in a list of names to rename Chicago's snowplows. I'm going with Hey Now, You're a Plow Star.
I do like that one. I think I like Austin Plowers.
Austin Plowers was pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, can you come up with another one real quick?
No, I'm not
on the
that.
fly.
I'm not that on fly.
I know, we know. It's going to take you 20 minutes. The next round at 6:30, he'll have it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not that good. And take a look at this. Humpback whales breach off the coast of North Carolina.
Cool is that?
Whoa.
What would you do if you saw that in person?
It makes you realize how small you are.
Amen
And
to
I would
that,
be
yeah.
rowing my boat in the other direction.
No kidding. All right, to today's top story this morning, the Greene County Sheriff's Office right now investigating two separate shootings in Xenia. They happened just 1 hour apart yesterday afternoon.
Our crews captured video of police on the scene at the first shooting in 2nd Street near Leach Street. Now, we don't know how many people were injured or what their conditions are this morning. Just 10 minutes away, police responded to another shooting on Alabama Drive. They found a 17-year-old shot in the knee. Now, police say they later found a 16-year-old who witnesses say shot the victim. Officers took him to the Greene County Juvenile Detention Center. He's charged with felonious assault. Now, if you have any information on any of these shootings, call the Xenia Police Department right away. That phone number is right there on your screen. You can also email the lead investigator. All this information is on our website, Dayton247now.com.
Right now, 8 people in Florida are recovering after a shooting at a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event. Detectives are investigating. Police say multiple shots rang out at a car show and a block party in Fort Pierce. Early reports state it happened after two groups got into an argument.
Crowd started, the first 2 shots were bang bang, but then it started getting multiple shots. And there about 1,500 people started running. I have witnessed 2 people got shot.
Police say 4 more people were hurt while trying to escape the violence. So far, no one is in custody.
We are looking at a day where there's plentiful of wet weather, but also take a look at temperatures this morning. We're in the 50s yet again. You know, for this time of year, we talk about a lot of days in the 30s, some days 20s, teens maybe, if we get a good cold spell. We've been running well above average, not just for maybe a couple of days, but really throughout the entire month of January thus far. And you see that temperature change anywhere between 15, 20, 25 degrees. It is very much so a warm morning overall. We are going to be looking at a day where if you're putting the kids on the bus, it's going to be cloudy, at least at parts, but generally speaking, we will see some sunshine periods as well as temperatures climb well into the 50s, may just be a touch breezy. Now, if you are putting kids on the bus or perhaps driving them to school, you want to give yourself a little bit of extra time. As you can see, the roads are all wet outside. Despite the wet roads, we haven't seen any major incidents on 70, 75, 675, 35, or 4 this morning. But again, kids going back to school, give yourself a little bit of extra time on the road.
Walgreens is no longer limiting online sales of children's fever medication. Some pharmacies restricted sales last month when RSV and the flu caused demand and surge. Now, the CDC says flu and RSV have peaked, but other viruses remain high or very high across the country.
And right now, there's a concern that we could see another surge.
This morning, Tej Joshi joins us now from Miami Valley Hospital with the symptoms doctors are seeing the most. Tej.
Good morning, guys. Just as you put it, RSV, flu, and COVID are all still prevalent this winter season, and those upper respiratory illnesses are happening across the nation and here in the Miami Valley. A big part of that right now is the fact that the flu cases peaked a while ago. They're down right now. Actually, according to the Ohio Department of Health in the state of Ohio, down about 38% compare last week's numbers to the week before that. But what is interesting to note is experts are saying that these numbers might be going back up, with a lot of kids going back to school and school-based activities getting into full stride over the next week or in the week after that. A lot of experts are saying, hey, be careful, the flu could catch back up. And experts say the influenza A has been the big culprit this year, but it's really the mix of influenza, COVID, and RSV happening at the same time that's caused issues this winter season, causing a lot of hospitals to remain full. Now, of course, there are new strains of COVID out right now, and we chatted with some experts who told us what to pay attention to with new COVID symptoms.
It's been very interesting for us. People that we would not suspect having COVID would be testing positive for COVID. The symptoms dovetail with the flu. We don't have people coming in and saying, I've lost taste and smell anymore. It's mostly upper respiratory, having trouble breathing, short of breath, a persistent cough.
And as I mentioned, of course, a lot of those symptoms are the symptoms you've heard for the last few years with COVID, and of course, could see a resurgence with the flu right now. And the things we've been doing, social distancing if you're sick and washing your hands, are things that experts say to continue to do if you or someone in your family are sick. Back to you guys in the studio.
Used car prices are dropping. That's according to Edmunds, an online car shopping guide. Experts say the increased supply of new cars played a part. The decline includes higher interest rates, making it more expensive to finance a car, limiting demand. Since the start of the pandemic, car prices have soared. The average used car price now is about the same as the average new car price in 2010.
Well, I knew this was coming. Behind me, take a look at CJ Stroud's Twitter page. The All-American quarterback sending a message to Buckeye Nation and thanking the Scarlet and Gray for his time at Ohio State, as he will not return to the shoe and instead declared for the 2023 draft. I think we knew this was coming, right? The long-anticipated announcement, obviously not a surprise. Stroud completed his OSU career as a two-time Heisman finalist. He passed for over 8,000 yards and added on 85 passing touchdowns. His final game might have been his best, as he threw for close to 350 yards and 4 touchdowns against Georgia. Most NFL experts project Stroud to be a top 5 pick in the draft in April.
Back up that Brinks truck.
Makes me so sad.
He's going to go make that coin. He's ready to go.
No, I'm very happy for him. Just sad for me.
Yeah, they always find
Not that I even play on the team or anything.
You had Haskins and Fields before this. You'll find another one.
JT Barrett.
Yeah, there's plenty of Buckeye quarterbacks. Our time right now, 5:36. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
None like CJ Stroud. Just kidding. You're watching.
They could find one that actually wins them a championship.
Stop! You're so rude. Celebrating Martin Luther King's legacy in minutes, Courtney Wheaton takes a look at how one area program is trying to help bridge the economic gap for minority women in the workplace.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at right now. It is a day where we're waking up to clouds, even a couple of scattered sprinkles. But if you're putting the kids on a bus, I think the actual thought process is it's going to clear out rather rapidly here this morning. So again, if you're putting the kids on the bus, here's what you need to know. I would say cloudy, maybe even mostly cloudy early on. Note by 9 a.m. though, we will start to see that sunshine come out. Temperatures are in the low 50s. By 11, we're in the mid 50s. And again, the sunshine's going to come out. It's going to turn into a mild day. So while it may be wise early on, especially if you are, let's say, getting the kids ready for a bus and putting them out on a bus stop to run around with their friends, they may need either a second pair of shoes or a pair of shoes you don't mind getting muddy, because everything is sopping wet outside. That includes the roads this morning. Here's what it looks like at 75 and 30. Well, excuse me. It does look like the morning commute is okay as of right now.
Celebrating Martin Luther King's legacy, we are reminded there are still disparities and challenges facing minority women in the workplace.
Courtney Wheaton tells us about a new program in Cincinnati aimed to help teach women and the skills they need to help bridge the economic gap.
Renika Smiley is the founder of Empower Gen Now Network. She says she had to take action after learning some sobering statistics about African American women in the Queen City.
Which was very shocking to find out that African American women in Cincinnati or in Ohio are making less than $15 an hour with bachelor's degrees. And so they're actually making less than their counterparts by 30%.
The data backed up by UC Economics and the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. Those stats inspired her to start Advance. The 12 to 16 week program will kick off in March and provide networking opportunities and valuable skills to bridge the economic gap.
A lot of issues that a lot of these women have is financial literacy and understanding how to manage their money or how to buy their first house.
Nicole Sims is the owner of Bold Career Consulting and one of the instructors for Advance. She says the mission is close to her heart.
I have been a talent acquisition manager for 22 years, and I'm an adjunct professor, and I teach a career-related curriculum, so career success strategies. And so anytime I can help somebody with interviewing, with resume prep, with branding, with networking, then that's always appealing to me.
Smiley says your race or your sex shouldn't be a barrier to your future success.
In Cincinnati, poverty is a huge issue, and to actually tackle that issue means that we're going to have to support more African American women in Cincinnati for training, for resources, for entrepreneurship.
Courtney Wheaton, Local 12 News.
5:43 is our time right now. Closing out Flying to the Hoop for 2023. Another successful year at Trent Arena just ahead. Matt Digby has highlights from Kettering.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
live on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. We are looking at temperatures right now, 15, 20 degrees warmer than this time 24 hours ago. Squarely puts us in the upper 40s and low 50s. Few of us are actually above 50 degrees, which is about 14 to 15 degrees above the average. Meanwhile, pin dot showers still continue across the area. We're not looking at anything heavy, and the bulk of the rain has now moved well to the east. There were some periods yesterday and even overnight. I know at my house it was just about 2:30 where it absolutely opened up for a good solid 15-20 minutes or thereabouts. Today, sunshine early, giving way to some clouds later on. I do think it'll be cloudy overnight. For tomorrow, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds at times, but more clouds and sun. Here we go. Wednesday night to Thursday, your next weather maker. This is going to bring in some showers and some periods of heavy rain. Notice we're here at about 4 or 5 in the morning. The rain starts to move out. Still could be easily a lingering shower for the first part of the morning commute, but by the time we get into Thursday afternoon, everything should start to clear out. Thursday itself, temperatures will be in the mid-50s. It's going to be a mild one once you get beyond the rain, which is good news because we're going to need to dry things out. Friday, a cool one with temperatures upper 30s. Saturday and Sunday, low 40s. And we'll see another chance of rain, perhaps even some snow on Monday of next week. It is going to be another, I would say, fairly active period the next 2 or 3 days, but beyond that, it's going to retreat down to around average, and we'll be within a few degrees of it during the daytime. Meanwhile, in the roads this morning, of course, we're back to the morning commute as many of the kids go off to school. We're not looking at anything major on I-75 this morning, and we haven't seen too many other issues on 675, 70, 35, or 4.
Hello, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. The final day of Fly Into the Hoop 2023 at Trent Arena on Monday. As has been tradition, the final game of the weekend featuring the host school Fairmont. The Firebirds were facing their 4th GMC opponent of the season in Lakota West. Fairmont had lost their first 3 contests against the GMC, but game number 4 would be different. A big second quarter setting the tone for a 57-43 win, with Jamison Roundtree scoring 16 points to lead all scorers. For the Firebirds, they enjoy hosting Fly Into the Hoop, and being able to play in the event is always a positive.
I think it's cool. I think the community likes to see, different people from, different backgrounds and cultures from all over the country to come in, watch some unbelievable kids, that can do some things that, you don't see unless you watch TV and the NBA. It's great for us to compete and be on the center stage too a little bit, to have the grand finale.
It means a lot to us because, after the couple losses we had earlier, it means a lot to get this one here at home. The talk on defense really propelled us to have the shots on offense to really boost our energy more.
Now, a second GWAC team was also on the day 4 schedule. Springboro was facing Lima Senior, but the Spartans were jumping out to an early lead as they would win by 35. Head coach Quincy Simpson saying he is thankful for the chance to play in this year's event. And for president and founder Eric Horstman, 2023 represents another successful season of Fly Into the Hoop.
It's my 9th year. I've played once back in 16, but every year I come. I've been coming for the last 15 years just to watch. It's a phenomenal event. One of the best in the country. So hopefully we did well enough to be invited back next year.
The fans in Dayton are great basketball fans, and they appreciate a good game. So these games coming down to the wire, last-second shots, a couple of overtime games, it just adds to the overall atmosphere, and you feel the fan getting into the games.
Now, Horstman says he is already in discussion with teams who are interested in being a part of the showcase in 2024. That will do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 5:49. A mega discovery for a young girl in Maryland in just minutes. Her major find and the history behind it.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a Marine veteran stepping in to save a stolen pet Yorkie being held for ransom.
One of my dogs was missing, and someone sent me a video of them in a cage. I don't even know how I would react.
Raquel Witherspoon's Yorkie, Avery, was taken from her front yard.
He's a family member. He's my grandson, and that's her son.
and we had him for 3 years. He means the world to us.
Richard McAmer says the intelligence training he learned as a Marine helped him track down the dog nappers and the pup.
It's just understanding, what information you have and how you could possibly use that information to, get more valuable information. Just where to go looking for it is really the key.
And coming up at 7 a.m., with dog thefts on the rise, what you can do to keep your furry friend safe. With your GMA First Look, I'm Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
Struggling with the highs and lows of bipolar 1? Ask about Vraylar. Because you are greater than your bipolar 1. And you can help take control of your symptoms with Vraylar. Some medicines only treat the lows or highs. Vraylar treats depressive, acute manic, and mixed episodes of bipolar 1 in adults. Proven full-spectrum relief for all bipolar 1 symptoms. And in Vraylar clinical studies, most saw no substantial impact on weight. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may mean a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Movement dysfunction and restlessness are common side effects. Sleepiness and stomach issues are also common. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. Ask about Vraylar and learn how AbbVie could help you.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
We are looking at right now a day where it's not awful outside. I mean, we're out here on a weather patio, and I'm out here, suit, jacket. You can obviously see that. But we're really not talking about temperatures that are below average. But when you look over the next few days, it's actually not just going to be a little bit above average, but actually well above average. In fact, I would say tomorrow it's about 10 degrees, and then beyond that, Friday itself is going to be in the upper 50s. So if you are thinking about your days, today very much so a mild day. There is a little bit of a breeze. I do expect that to continue all throughout the day, but with the sunshine coming out, today's probably going to be the pick day, because on Thursday we're going to be looking at more rain possible, especially early on. We'll talk about that, plus also talk about a cooler but generally speaking drier weekend upcoming as well.
After a difficult 2022, cryptocurrency is on the rise, making a rally following the collapse of FTX in November, which sent shockwaves through the industry. Bitcoin is now up over 25% over the last month. It's the world's most popular crypto. It's hovering around $20,000. That's still down from the peak of about $69,000 in November of 2021. Now, Ethereum, the second most popular cryptocurrency, is up More than 30%. I have no idea what just came out of my mouth.
Crypto, bro.
Crypto.
Fans of NBA great and Lakers legend Kobe Bryant are excited. A basketball jersey worn by the Hall of Famer is expected to head to auction and could fetch up to $7 million. The LA Lakers star wore this jersey more than 25 times during the 2007-2008 season. Now, the auction house Sotheby's is putting the jersey under the hammer. It says that Bryant scored more than 600 points wearing it during the only MVP season in his career. If any bidder pays the predicted amount, that would be the second highest price ever paid for a basketball jersey, the first being a jersey worn by Michael Jordan during the 1998 NBA Finals.
Let's take a live look this morning from Cumberland, Maryland, where a family fossil hunting found a mega memory when their 9-year-old discovered a massive prehistoric shark tooth. How cool is this? This is Molly Sampson. Take a look at that thing. She's holding a megalodon tooth in the water at Calvert Cliffs State Park. The 15-million-year-old tooth is 5 inches long. Experts say it likely belonged to a shark nearly 50 feet long. Molly will add the priceless find to her collection of more than 400 shark teeth. She wants to be a paleontologist and knows all about megalodon sharks, which became extinct millions of years ago. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's an extremely rare find, worth a lot of money now, too.
I know. I mean, I actually went, probably not, but down in Florida, Venice Beach is like world famous for finding shark teeth. It's like the shark tooth capital of the world. And I went 2 summers in a row. It is so cool to sit there and find the shark teeth.
That's so weird, too.
It's just, it is, but it's like the coolest thing ever.
New Jersey's like that, too.
Yeah.
Like the riverbeds actually are great havens for shark teeth. And I know there was one behind my house that's actually somewhat famous for dinosaur bones and everything else.
How cool!
I never went back there because why would I? I mean, that's lame. Science, lame. Boo.
That was my life as a kid. I loved that stuff. I always went fossil searching.
No, I was not a fossil searcher. I was a go fish or go play baseball.
Meanwhile, I find dead frogs in my neighborhood. That's all.
That's your kid.
Nothing fun there. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Live on ABC 22, you're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's 3 quick stories you're seeing on social. Actor Jeremy Renner says he's home from the hospital. Really great news. After a snowplow accident, the Marvel star was injured on New Year's Day while clearing snow from his driveway at his Nevada home.
And the Museum of the Bible is displaying a rare one with one of the most famous typos. Just a few copies of the, quote, wicked Bible still exist. One of the 10 Commandments omits the word not, making the text read, "Thou shalt commit adultery."
Oh, scandalous.
Scandal.
And a sign on one Waffle House going viral. It tells people to order off the menu, adding, "We're not making anything you saw on TikTok." I could hear one of those cranky cooks just like yelling, "I ain't doing that!"
I know! Oh my God, though. How funny would that be? This does look really yummy, by the way.
Well, don't order that.
No, I guess we're
They'll
not
get mad
allowed
at
to. All right. Well, right now, flu cases on the decline, but we're not out of the woods just yet. In fact, hospitals are still full with other patients, and another spike, of course, is always possible.
Tej Joshi joins us now live from Miami Valley Hospital with what doctors are saying. Tej.
Good morning, guys. Doctors are definitely saying that you got to be careful of COVID, flu, and RSV all right now. This winter season, all three are still infecting patients across the country and here in the Miami Valley. That's why some hospitals are still full. And as you mentioned there in the intro, flu cases are actually down right now. Flu's been pretty bad this season. Influenza A in particular has been the big culprit. But right now, if you look at last week's numbers compared to the week before that, flu is down about 38%. That's according to some numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. But with many kids going back to school this week, next week, and a lot of school-based activities getting ready to get back into full gear, experts are saying, hey, you gotta watch out. There might be an uptick in flu with all those kids hanging out with each other. And if you are being careful there, you gotta just check out what some of the flu symptoms could look like.
Make sure that, you're taking vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, Tamiflu. You can call your provider and get Tamiflu, and that can be prescribed to reduce some of the symptoms. And then if you start seeing a fever where you are persistent and can't get rid of the fever, you really need to get in and see your primary care.
Now, with flu or any of these other respiratory illnesses that we've been talking about for this winter and really for the last several years, be sure to wash your hands and socially distance if you or someone in your family is sick. Back to you guys in the studio.
We are looking at it right now. I would say a fairly cloudy start to your morning, although it is going to get progressively more clear as we get into the morning hours. In fact, I would dare say the Richmond, Greenville, Salina area probably already starting to see some clearer sky. Dayton, meanwhile, could get one or two more little light showers, probably nothing more than a sprinkle, but we have seen this throughout the morning hours and especially overnight. There were some periods of maybe not necessarily heavy rain, but a good downpour or two for a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, 50 degrees and cloudy skies, giving way to partly cloudy skies. By the time we get into the probably, let's say, late morning hours, we will have temperatures low to mid 50s. It's going to be a fairly comfortable day today. The only downside, maybe just a touch breezy. We'll be looking at more rain possible starting late tomorrow, and that'll continue into early Thursday. Meanwhile, on the roads, it's a wet morning commute, so give yourself a little bit of extra time no matter where you are traveling. But we haven't seen any issues on any of the interstates or the state roads this morning.
The search continues for Sierra Chapman. The Dayton woman has been missing for nearly 3 weeks, and police are now calling her disappearance suspicious. Mimi Ba has the latest.
Now, let's give you a breakdown of the timeline. On December 27th, investigators say, let's go in here, this is when she was last seen here at an apartment complex in Trotwood. Again, this is on December 27th. They say the car that she has, a 2014 Cadillac SRX SUV, left the apartment at about 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, 10 days later, let's go back here on January 6th. In Middletown is where that car was found, here on Shelby Street and Jewel Avenue in Middletown. Again, as I mentioned, now her purse and other personal items were inside the vehicle, but she was nowhere to be found. Now, I caught up with the family at that location. This is their message.
Sierra, if you see this, if you hear this, even if it comes past you in the whiff of a wind, please find a way anyway to reach out to us. We are dearly, dearly, dearly missing you. Whoever is around you, whoever have you, just deliver this message to my sister, and we are here as one and as a whole.
Now, if you have any information on her whereabouts, just head to Dayton247now.com and click on this story under top stories for the numbers you could call. Back to you.
6 people, including a teen mother and her child, are now dead after a shooting yesterday morning in Central California. Now, authorities are calling it, quote, a horrific massacre. They're searching for at least 2 suspects. Investigators say they believe the shooting was gang-related and the family was targeted.
We're learning new details this morning as University of Alabama junior forward Darius Miles remains in custody with no bond. Prosecutors charged him and another man with capital murder in a shooting Sunday. Here you can hear Miles in tears talking to his family before being put in a police car.
I swear, I love you more than you imagine.
Now, in a statement, his lawyer says Miles maintains his innocence. Now we're learning more about the 23-year-old victim, Jamia Harris. She leaves behind a 5-year-old son. Investigators say the shooting happened behind a bar after an argument. Alabama coach Nate Oates confirms Miles has been removed from campus and the team was already out for the season because of an injury. Today would have been Betty White's 101st birthday. She worked hard to protect animals during her lifetime. Now, in her honor, the Humane Society of Greater Dayton is encouraging everyone to do the Betty White Challenge. All you got to do is donate to the animal shelter in need today. You can give at the website on your screen, hsdayton.org/Betty.
Our time right now is 6:06. Don't forget your headlines are scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
The Hubbard Yard Dash, the fumble in the jungle. Just ahead, Cassie Arsenault looks at a hometown hero making an impact on and off the field.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Temperatures are in the upper 40s and low 50s. It is a mild morning overall, and we're going to be dealing with mild temperatures all day and dealing in a sense of, well, it's still going to be quite a nice day to get outside. 55 degrees, about that for our high. The clouds will start to fill in the second half of the day, and tomorrow, by and large, should be a cloudy day. There could be a couple of breaks somewhere during the afternoon and evening. Once you get into overnight Wednesday to Thursday, note the rain that'll come through. This should wrap up by early Thursday morning, but still there is likely to be some periods of perhaps intense rainfall across the area. This will likely wrap up again Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, another mild day. This is the sunshine comes out. In fact, today and Thursday, both are going to be in the 50s. Tomorrow, only in the upper 40s, which tomorrow is actually still about 10 degrees above the average for this time of year. As for this time of year, of course, we're getting the kids back to school. We are looking at right now the roads wet outside, so give yourself extra time, especially in the neighborhoods around those bus stops. And other than that, we haven't seen any major issues on any of the interstates as well.
Our time right now is 6:11. Concerns on Capitol Hill. More questions being asked. And President Biden's classified documents case just ahead. The latest on the investigation.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Money Sense is sponsored by Abbey Credit Union.
This week, we're continuing the conversation about credit unions and diving deeper into the benefits of joining one. A credit union is very similar to a bank. However, it's nonprofit and member-owned, which can give you different opportunities than you'd receive at a bank. One benefit to being a credit union member is receiving lower rates on loans and credit cards. Another benefit to credit union is that they tend to be more understanding and forgiving when it comes to qualification standards. Next, if you're looking for higher savings account rates, credit unions traditionally offer better interest. The most important thing to remember is that if you have any questions when it comes to your money, we have great local professionals right here that are ready to help.
Abbey Credit Union is celebrating 85 years. We can help with low-rate mortgage, home equity, vehicle, or student loans. Abbey can even consolidate your credit card debt with no transfer fees. Visit any of our branches today and find out what Abbey Credit Union can do for you.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
This morning, the Cincinnati Bengals preparing for the Buffalo Bills this week, all thanks to a hometown hero, Sam Hubbard. Made NFL history when he returned a fumble, 98 yards for the go-ahead touchdown Sunday night.
Cincinnati native Hubbard's moment on the field is generating huge reactions from Bengals fans and beyond. Cassie Arsenault from our sister station takes a look at his impact.
Sam Hubbard rewrote the NFL record book with that play. Longest fumble return touchdown in NFL playoff history. And now this hometown kid's historic 98-yard run for a touchdown, a play no doubt worthy of oxygen, is making a big impact off the field. Hubbard's former high school, Moeller, ended baseball practice with what they are calling the Hubbard Sprint. And on 4th Street at Cook's Sporting Goods, Hubbard jerseys are flying off the racks.
We sold out of the black ones. We're lucky enough to get in a shipment of orange jerseys this morning, right on time. So those will be gone soon.
Most notably, though, money for the Hometown Heroes Foundation is pouring in.
Somebody asked what it's been like since he's crossed the goal line. Literally from the moment he was running down, I had 70 text messages from foundation people. Our email inbox had 200. Everything from donations of $9.80 to $500.
Not to mention 2 advisory board members who want to match up to $20,000 in donations. Matt Cattell, the executive director of the Sam Hubbard Foundation, but also just a good friend of the NFL star since high school, recalls the heroic sprint.
Just the coolest moment in the world. So just pure elation and then just happiness for Sam. Couldn't happen to a better person.
Hubbard's foundation focuses heavily on fighting food insecurity and equitable access to education. The defensive end is a 2-time Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year nominee. To add to the list, the good doer and his family personally pack and hand out Thanksgiving meals to hundreds. And come Christmas time, he treats local children to a shopping spree at his Shop with a Pro event.
It just makes this city so much better for just being here and kind of caring about his mission and pushing that forward.
Out of the 120 plays run on Sunday night, Hubbard's will likely be the only one we remember for years to come. But he's making sure his contributions off the field are felt forever.
I think there's crazy plays every Sunday. But I think people know who Sam is. He's one of us. He's a Cincinnati kid. I think people just are drawn to that. So when they they see that athletic play, they're like, oh, this is awesome. But I also know he has a foundation. I want to help that. It's just I think more of a credit to who Sam is as a person that makes people think, not only is this dude a great athlete, but he's a great person.
Cassie Arsenault, Local 12 News.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at right now. We do have cloudy skies, a low-hanging cloud deck, but just judging by the way that cloud deck looks, it may be a case where it's just the moisture being trapped under the inversion. So what'll happen is at night, you'll get cold air, which is heavier, that'll flip down. And with it, what you will get is sometimes an area where it's relatively calm, and that stays in place, and then you get clouds passing over. Now, we did have rain, so that may not be necessarily fully true for this morning, but it does look like that cloud deck is quite thin. And what that means for us is once we get into the morning, get the sunshine and get it going, I think it's going to go away rather quickly, and thus we're going to be left with a sunny start to your day. Now, I don't think it's going to be sunny all throughout the day. I do think we'll start to get some clouds afternoon, evening time frame. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s, and it does become breezy. So this is not a 10 out of 10 day, but let's say 8.75. I'm also taking off a half a point because we had rain and everything is very wet outside. Tonight, 36 degrees. Tomorrow, 48. Will be even warmer, though, on your Thursday, despite the fact that Wednesday night to Thursday, we are going to see some rather heavy rain at times. I do think temperatures retreat into the upper 30s and low 40s for the weekend. But you look over the average for this time of year, that is certainly a lot closer to it. We'll be looking at also some wet roads this morning. Again, as those kids go back to the school bus, you just want to give yourself some extra time. But we haven't seen any major issues on the interstates this morning. Traffic is picking up, though, on I-75 as well.
White House tried to say it was all cleared up on Thursday. Now that we find there's more documents, I think there's a lot of questions that continue to raise, and we want to get all the information possible.
Taking a live look this morning from a dark White House at this hour as more questions are now being asked about President Biden and the classified document concerns. Now, multiple sources say there could be more searches ahead for classified documents at locations connected to the president. His team searched a private office in Washington, D.C. and his 2 homes in Delaware, where the White House says files may have been shipped during Biden's 2017 transition out of office as vice president. They found about 20 classified documents. The sources say more searches are possible, but it's not clear who would conduct them or where they would take place.
Our time right now is 6:21. Tom Brady may be playing his last game. Wildcard weekend wraps up with the Bucs Cowboys. Just ahead, the schedule for the upcoming divisional round.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Good morning. Today's pet of the day, Benji. I believe Benji's probably some sort of either Border Collie or a Aussie Shepherd mix. Joy sent in Benji here. What a beautiful dog. Now, I have an Aussie mix myself, and I can tell you that they are incredibly smart, but also, in my case, incredibly crazy energy. And today, a day where I've got to figure a way to get some of the energy out. And probably the easiest way typically is with temperatures in the 50s, let them outside. However, because we are going to be dealing with some rain showers, or excuse me, we're going to have to deal with all the leftover from the rain showers. Today, a day where I'm going yellow paws, especially because, well, it's just quite sopping wet outside, and I think I'm going to be having to do some mopping when I let old Valkyrie outside. Maybe you're letting your Benji out, or your Valkyrie, or your dog. It's going to be a wet one out there, and I do think it'll be wet not only in the backyards, but on the roads. We do have one incident right now. It's at 3rd Street and 75. Just looking at the camera in that area, that's the bottom left, haven't seen any major slowdown, so it just seems like that may be more towards the side streets. Still, if that's part of your morning commute, give yourself a little bit of extra time.
The playoff picture is set for the NFL as the final game of Wild Card Weekend features the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday night. In what could be his last NFL game, legendary quarterback Tom Brady struggled last night. The 7-time Super Bowl champ threw 66 times last night, but only completed 35 attempts for 351 yards. The 45-year-old finished with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, which he threw in the red zone. The Bucs fell to the Cowboys 31-14. The divisional round is set. You're taking a live look at the road to the Super Bowl on NFL.com. Action starts Saturday when the Jacksonville Jaguars visit the Kansas City Chiefs at 4:30. Saturday night is all NFC East with the New York Giants at the top-seeded Philadelphia Eagles. And Sunday starts at 3 with the Bengals visiting the Bills, followed by the Cowboys heading to San Francisco to take on the 49ers at 6:30. So I was looking online at Twitter this morning, and people were ranking what they thought was going to be the best matchup. Most people say Bengals-Bills is going to be the best game. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, first of all, it's got the importance of the game that was canceled, so you finally get to decide a winner. Number 2, there's going to be a tons of emotions between the two teams, and let's be honest, it's going to be a great football game between the two
I think so too.
juggernauts.
I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, maybe the Buckeye Sam Hubbard can pull off another magical miracle.
Yeah, he might need an oxygen tank on standby. But
did you see the shirts that they made, by the way? They put his face on Forrest Gump's face and made it on his body.
No.
And it's him running like this.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually.
Apparently he was mic'd up during the game, so we might get a video clip of what he actually sounded like.
I mean, I think we can all, I think we can all figure out.
Now we relate big time on that one.
Oh,
gosh, I love a good fat man touchdown, but a 98-yard fat man
He's
touchdown.
not even that fat, though.
No, I know, but it's still a big dude.
No.
I love though, like when it's a full-on linebacker.
Yeah.
And then for the first time they touch the ball and they're like so excited to run a whole 5 yards and they're like,
yeah.
So
that'd be me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I know.
Our time right now, 6:27. Still to come.
Flu cases are down right now, but they could be coming back up. We'll have details later on in the show.
Here's Genevieve Gorder with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
You guys, we have one of the hottest trends from one of your favorite beauty brands and anti-aging brands, Wrinkles Schminkles. Now, every time they come onto the show, and they've been coming on since the very beginning, we sell out. So pay attention because this is a new product. These are their self-dissolving microneedle patches, and here's how they work. You simply peel off the patch, apply with a bit of pressure, and you'll start to see the incredible results. I like to wear these overnight, and they literally melt into your skin. The microneedles are actually crystals on the patch infused with ingredients to plump and hydrate your skin, just like microneedling, a favorite celebrity skin treatment that you can now do at home. Collagen and peptides melt away and infuse deep down into the skin, helping smooth those fine lines and wrinkles, whether it's around your mouth, by your eyes, between your eyes. We all have our areas. Now, most skin treatments sit on top of your skin. The patches work below the surface, and the results come from inside out, into the dermal layers of your skin. We always sell out on Wrinkles Schminkles, so do not wait on this. They come in a pack of 4, get a few boxes, try them out. Trust me, the results are fantastic. The deal on Wrinkles Schminkles microneedle patches is 25% off. These are a must-have in any beauty routine. Simply go to asadeals.com.
on ABC 22. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Here's three stories you're seeing on social right now. Russian and Belarusian flags have been banned. Belarusian, have been banned from the Australian Open. This after fans displayed a Russian flag at a match between Russia and Ukrainian the day earlier.
All right, Austin Plowers. Hey now, you're a plow star, or Oh Plow Winfrey. What are your choices?
I like Oh Plow Winfrey now too.
You do?
I think so.
I don't know. Austin Plowers might be my favorite.
I don't know. They're all so good.
They are really good. Well, these are finalists in a list of names to rename Chicago's snowplows.
It's better than Plowing the Plowface, which
would probably win and is probably one of the 6 finalists.
It probably is. Take a look at this. Humpback whales breach off the coast of North Carolina.
It's amazing to me.
I mean, I've watched these videos on TikTok.
Me too.
Where they're a lot closer than that, and it scares the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it's really cool though.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I saw a manatee once.
At a distance.
Yeah,
manatees.
Same. All right, our top story this morning, the Greene County Sheriff's Office right now investigating 2 separate shootings in Xenia. They happened just 1 hour apart yesterday afternoon.
Our crews captured video of police on scene at the first shooting on 2nd Street near Leach Street. We don't know how many people were injured or what their conditions are this morning. Just 10 minutes away, police responding to another shooting on Alabama Drive. They found 17-year-old shot in the knee. Police say they later found a 16-year-old who witnesses say shot the victim. Officers took him to Greene County Juvenile Detention Center. He's charged with felonious assault. Now, if you have any information on any of these shootings, call the Xenia Police Department right away. That number's on your screen. You can also email the lead investigator. All that information's on our website, Dayton247now.com.
Right now, 8 people in Florida are recovering after a shooting at a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event. Detectives are investigating. Police say multiple shots rang out at a car show and block party at Fort Pierce. Now, early reports say it happened after 2 groups got into an argument.
The crowd started, the first 2 shots were bang bang, but then it started getting multiple shots. And there about 1,500 people started running. I have witnessed 2 people got shot.
Police say 4 more people were hurt while trying to escape the gun violence. So far, no one is in custody.
Good morning. After all the rain that we saw over the last 24 hours, the good news is we're almost done with the rain here. The better news is the sunshine will come out. Still going to be a lingering shower or 2 for the first part of the morning. If you're putting the kids on the bus, though, once you get past, I would say, next hour or 2, we should start to see things become not only much drier, but also much more sunny. Look at noontime, even 3 p.m., maybe even periods of direct blue sky. There will likely be some clouds, especially during the afternoon and evening. But overall, today looking pretty up with temperatures in the mid-50s, and again, a mix of sun and clouds. Meanwhile, on the roads, it has been a fairly, I would say, quiet morning commute. Did have one incident on 3rd Street on I-75, but doesn't look like that's affecting things too much. I-75 and 40 just a little bit slower. Otherwise, again, things moving pretty smoothly thus far this morning.
Walgreens is no longer limiting online sales of children's fever medication. Now, some pharmacies restricted sales last month when RSV and the flu caused demand to surge. The CDC says flu and RSV have peaked, but other viruses remain high or very high across the country. And right now, there is concern that we could see another surge.
Tej Joshi joins us now live from Miami Valley Hospital with the symptoms doctors are seeing the most. Tej.
Good morning, guys. Right now, a trifecta of respiratory viruses, as you guys mentioned, COVID, RSV, and flu are all concerns across the whole nation and here in the Miami Valley. Specifically, looking at flu right now, the numbers are actually a little bit lower right now than they were just a few weeks ago. If you look at the numbers from the Ohio Department of Health from last week compared to the week just before that, numbers are down about 38%. But experts warn, hey, don't get complacent. With a lot of kids going back to school this week or getting a lot of school-based activities up into high gear in the next couple weeks. You got to be careful because experts are expecting a resurgence of the flu, and this flu season, it's been influenza A that's been doing a lot of that damage, putting a lot of people in hospitals and keeping a lot of hospitals full. But of course, COVID is still a concern, and one thing to look at there are new COVID strains and what symptoms to look out for with this new COVID.
It's been very interesting for us. People that we would not suspect having COVID would be testing positive for COVID. The symptoms dovetail with the flu. We don't have people coming in and saying, I've lost taste and smell anymore. It's mostly upper respiratory, having trouble breathing, short of breath, a persistent cough.
Now with COVID, RSV, or the flu, a couple things to keep in mind. Be sure to be washing your hands as these viruses are out and about. And also, if you or someone in your family does have this, be sure to socially distance as we've all been practicing the last couple years. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, behind me this morning, I knew this was coming. CJ Stroud's Twitter page right here. The All-American quarterback sending a message to Buckeye Nation and thanking Scarlet and Gray for his time at Ohio State, as he will not return to the shoe and instead has declared for the 2023 NFL Draft. Well, the long-anticipated announcement, of course, does not come as a surprise. Stroud completed his OSU career as a two-time Heisman finalist. He passed for more than 8,000 yards and added on 85 passing touchdowns. His final game might have been his best, as he threw for close to 350 yards and 4 touchdowns against Georgia. Most NFL experts project Stroud to be a top 5 pick in the draft come April.
Our time right now is 6:38. Don't forget you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Your weather, of course, on the side of your screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Closing out Flying to the Hoop for 2023, another successful year at Trent Arena. Just ahead, Matt Digby has highlights from Kettering.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
In Northern California, a rainbow appears at Whiskey Town Lake near Redding. You can't see it, but there's so much water, the lake overflowed into the marina parking lot. Thankfully, the rains have stopped for now. There's fire and ice at Roan Mountain along the North Carolina-Tennessee border. The orange and red sky lighting up the snow-covered trees and ground, not far from the Appalachian Trail.
Good morning and welcome to the Watson's Weather Patio, where this morning it's not that bad outside, to be honest with you. In fact, I would say it's probably more towards jeans, sweatshirt type weather as opposed to a true winter wake up. I mean, we're waking up to temperatures around 50 degrees. Now, for some of us, that may be, again, a little bit of a heavier sweatshirt, or maybe some of us are still wearing the winter jacket. Either way, it's temperatures around 50, and again, a little bit of a breeze from time to time. And here on the Watson's Weather Patio, we're somewhat protected, but I can imagine if you're waiting on a bus or maybe getting those kids up and ready, that breeze can cut through you. Either way, I'd expect to see the sunshine starting mid to late this morning. We will see some periods of sun and clouds all throughout the day, with more clouds than sun. More wet weather is possible Wednesday into Thursday, though. Up until then, it'll stay dry. So you might as well enjoy the mild weather while we still have it, because, again, more wet weather is likely overnight Wednesday into Thursday.
Hello, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. The final day of Fly Into the Hoop 2023 at Trent Arena on Monday. As has been tradition, the final game of the weekend featuring the host school Fairmont. The Firebirds were facing their fourth GMC opponent of the season in Lakota West. Fairmont had lost their first 3 contests against the GMC, but game number 4 would be different. A big second quarter setting the tone for a 57-43 win, with Jamison Roundtree scoring 16 points to lead all scorers. For the Firebirds, they enjoy hosting Fly Into the Hoop, and being able to play in the event is always a positive.
I think it's cool. I think that the community likes to see, different people from, different backgrounds and cultures from all over the country to come in, watch some unbelievable kids, that can do some things that, you don't see unless you watch TV and the NBA. It's great for us to compete and be on the center stage, too, a little bit, to have the grand finale.
It means a lot to us because, after the couple of losses we had earlier, it means a lot to get this one here at home. The talk on defense really propelled us to have the shots on offense to really boost our energy more.
Now, a second GWAC team was also on the day 4 schedule. Springboro was facing Lima Senior, but the Spartans were jumping out to an early lead as they would win by 35. Head coach Quincy Simpson saying he is thankful for the chance to play in this year's event. And for president and founder Eric Horstman, 2023 represents another successful season of Fly Into the Hoop.
It's my 9th year. I've played once back in 16, but every year I come. I've been coming for the last 15 years just to watch. It's a phenomenal event. One of the best in the country. So hopefully we did well enough to be invited back next year.
The fans in Dayton are great basketball fans, and they appreciate a good game. So these games coming down to the wire, last-second shots, a couple of overtime games, it just adds to the overall atmosphere, and you feel the fan getting into the games.
Now, Horstman says he is already in discussion with teams who are interested in being a part of the showcase in 2024. That will do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Our time right now is 6:45. Crypto rising after a rough year and the fall of FTX. A promising start to the new year for cryptocurrency, and why Bitcoin isn't the only company celebrating.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Good morning. Here's what we're looking at. It is I would say, somewhat cloudy start to your morning, although at this present point, we're still dealing with maybe a sprinkle or two somewhere in the area. And just looking over some of the traffic cams behind me, I don't see much in the way of a lot of wet weather. There's probably, again, nothing more than a sprinkle here or there. But it is worth pointing out that this morning we do expect there to be just a little bit more residual wet weather. As for the rest of today, we'll tap into some clearer, drier air. And because of that, we'll actually get some sunshine by the time we get into the afternoon. There will likely be some clouds filtering in for the evening. That'll continue through overnight. Tomorrow, we stay dry through the daytime, but as we get into the night, here comes the rain. That could linger all the way into parts of Thursday morning, although it seems like the morning commute could actually be pretty dry in the sense that not a lot of rain falling. Still, I would say early Thursday morning, likely to be some wet weather. Meanwhile, for temperatures, upper 30s tonight, 40s for tomorrow. This after we're in the 50s today. I do think we'll be in the 50s on Thursday despite that early rain. Beyond Thursday, we'll retreat to around the average, which is in the upper 30s for this time of year. Meanwhile, the roads this morning, starting to see things pick up a little bit. And because of that, we are starting to see maybe just an incident or two. Let's see, 3rd Street at I-75 seems to be at least one accident. So just give yourself some extra time in and around that area.
After a difficult 2022, cryptocurrency is on the rise, making a rally following the collapse of FTX in November, which sent shockwaves through the industry. Bitcoin is up over 25% over the last month. It's the world's most popular crypto, and it's hovering around $20,000. That's still down, though, from a peak of about $69,000 in November in 2021. Now, Ethereum, the second most popular cryptocurrency, is up more than 30%.
Oh, hey, Nick. Come
I'm
on
coming.
over, sunshine. Crypto is one of those things that just is kind of elusive to me. I'm not sure really what to make of it. I don't think I trust my money in it, personally.
I don't know anything about it.
I
I
don't
just
either.
know when I looked at it, it went like this, and I was like, no. And there was some NFL player who got paid in Bitcoin and ended up paying for like $10,000 or something ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Like instead of millions. So yeah, I'm good with not that.
Yeah, like that and the NFT is just as confusing. And I feel like I'm an old man when I say this.
You are.
I feel like I have no dog in this fight because y'all are just talking about stuff I don't care about nor know about.
All you're hearing right now is the Charlie Brown adults.
Mwah, 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 mwah.
I'm sure a lot of people at home feel the same
yep.
way. You know what? I'm just going to keep my money in a mayo jar in the backyard. We'll be good.
Done.
Our time right now, 6:51.
Take it out then.
Celebrating Martin Luther King's legacy at 7 on Fox 45. Courtney Wheaton looks at how one area program is trying to help bridge the economic gap for minority women in the workplace.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, we're following some breaking news. A shooting at a Martin Luther King Jr. Day event that left 8 people wounded, 1 critically. Also, we will be following that storm moving across the desert southwest into the high plains, parts of Colorado, 6 to 12 plus inches, and then eventually parts of the northeast, but mostly going to be rain. We are way behind on snow here. We'll do all of it coming up right here on GMA.
Right now, flu cases are on the decline, but we're not out of the woods yet. Hospitals are still full with other patients, and another spike, of course, is always possible.
Tej Joshi joins us now from Miami Valley Hospital with what doctors are saying. Tej.
Good morning, guys. Doctors are saying you got to be careful with a trifecta of respiratory illnesses right now. That includes, as you mentioned, flu, of course, COVID, and RSV. All three are affecting patients here in the Miami Valley and across the whole nation right now. But we are looking specifically at flu here in the Miami Valley. There's a lot of patients in hospitals with influenza right now, but important to look at, the numbers are actually down. If you look at the numbers from the Ohio Department of Health from last week, they are about 38% lower than the numbers from the week before that one. So overall, good news on the numbers of flu cases, but experts do say you gotta be vigilant here because they expect the numbers to go back up with kids going back to school and school-based activities on the rise, getting ready to get into full gear over the next few weeks. They're expecting flu cases to ratchet back up, and it's been influenza A this past year that's been causing a lot of issues, along with, I mentioned, COVID and RSV. But with flu, if you at home are suffering from flu-like symptoms, if you're not sure if it's flu, COVID, RSV, whatever it is, we got some tips from experts to help you take care of yourself.
Make sure that, you're taking vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, Tamiflu. You can call your provider and get Tamiflu, and that can be prescribed to reduce some of the symptoms. And then if you start seeing a fever where you are persistent and can't get rid of the fever, you really need to get in and see your primary care.
Of course, experts also say to be sure you're washing your hands, and if you or someone in your family is sick, to be socially distancing, as many of us have practiced over the last couple of years. Back to you guys in the studio.
The search continues for Sierra Chapman. The Dayton woman has been missing for nearly 3 weeks. Police are now calling her disappearance suspicious. Mamie Baugh has the latest.
Now let's give you a breakdown of the timeline. On December 27th, investigators say, let's go in here, this is when she was last seen here at an apartment complex in Trotwood. Again, this is on December 27th. They say the car that she has, a 2014 Cadillac SRX SUV, left the apartment at about 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Now 10 days later, let's go back here on January 6th. In Middletown is where that car was found, here on Shelby Street and Jewel Avenue in Middletown. Again, as I mentioned, now her purse and other personal items were inside the vehicle, but she was nowhere to be found. Now, I caught up with the family at that location. This is their message.
Sierra, if you see this, if you hear this, even if it comes past you in the whiff of a wind, please find a way anyway to reach out to us. We are dearly, dearly, dearly missing you. Whoever is around you, whoever have you, just deliver this message to my sister, and we are here as one and as a whole.
Now, if you have any information on her whereabouts, just head to Dayton247now.com and click on this story under top stories for the numbers you could call. Back to you.
Taking a look behind me this morning at C.J. Stroud's Twitter page, the All-American quarterback sending a message to Buckeye Nation and thanking the Scarlet and Gray for his time at Ohio State, as he will not return to the shoe and instead declared for the 2023 NFL Draft. With a long-anticipated announcement, dozens